The brain injury charity Headway says it's coming under increasing financial pressure because of cuts to local authorities' spending. Headway's told our reporter Ben Sidwell that a lack of council support for patients means increasing numbers are turning to them.
I was out celebrating my 30th birthday. I was assaulted from behind, to which I hit my head on the floor, and it caused a brain hemorrhage.
Holding your husband in your arms and thinking that he's dying is something that will live with me forever.
In October last year, Mark Schofield's life changed forever. The father from Kitts Green in Birmingham was so badly injured, he had no memory of his own daughter.
I was at war with my own brain, if you like, because it just would not switch off, and it was continually throwing everything at me that's happened, thoughts of dying.
We were at a point where I couldn't cope. We couldn't cope, and I didn't know who to call, and it was the only number that I had, and I phoned the number and said, I don't really know if I'm speaking to the right people, but I need to speak to somebody.
That number was for the brain injury charity Headway West Midlands. Last year they helped many people like Mark in and around Birmingham, but cuts to funding mean many of the services they offer are now under threat.
The future is very uncertain for all of us. We may be able to run one service, but it's not going to meet the 700 people we were able to support last year.
The charity helped those with acquired brain injuries relearn skills and reintegrate socially.
It'd be a massive loss. My life has changed. I've only been coming to this centre about 6 or 8 months, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to me since my brain injury.
I didn't know nothing about brain injury. I didn't know about Headway until it happened, because it happens, it does happen, it happens to anyone, it can happen to you. But Headway are very, very important, because without them, I don't know what we would have done.
Ben Sidwell, BBC Midlands Today, Birmingham.
With us now is Luke Griggs from Headway. Good evening to you. Some extremely powerful comments in that report there, including the future is uncertain. Would you agree with that?
Very much so, unfortunately. Headway West Midlands, as we saw there, are just one of a number of Headway groups across the West Midlands. And indeed, there are 120 odd groups and branches across the whole of the UK. And a recent survey of those groups found that 85% of Headway charities are concerned about their ability to provide long-term support to people affected by brain injury if the level of funding continues.
Yeah, and also that report reveals very starkly, doesn't it, how life can change in an instant without you realising it's coming up. You know?
Absolutely, and it can affect anyone at any time. And when it does, the effects can be devastating, not just for the individual, but also for families, as we saw on that clip. But equally, we know that with the right help at the right time, there can be life after brain injury.
OK, so what exactly is the problem now?
Well, the problem is of simultaneous cuts by local authority funding to groups and branches, through welfare benefits, through a variety of different ways that people are being restricted from access to Headway services. So some people who previously attended a Headway service are now being told, yes, you can still go because your funding's still there, but we're cutting your transport costs, so they can't actually get in. Alternatively, other people are actually finding that their level of need isn't deemed high enough, which is a real shame because people are being cut out of society.
The trouble is every charity will think it's special, understandably. So why should Headway be special?
Oh, look, we fully appreciate the difficulty local authorities are facing in terms of balancing the books. What we're trying to do is help them to use their precious resources in a more appropriate way, because it's a false economy to stop people receiving the rehabilitation they need if that rehabilitation is actually going to help them to become more independent and therefore less likely to be reliant on more expensive long-term state care in the future.
Luke Griggs, thank you very much indeed.